Hey, I'm Zach.
And I'm Jesse.
And thank you for joining us on Tesla Time News.
Episode 36.
On Now You Know.
Is it episode 36?
Yeah.
Excellent.
Hey, we got the episode right.
That's good.
So before we get started this week, I just want to make sure we give a big shout out to Electric. Electric.co is a fantastic site. You have to go there. It's where we get a lot of our news stories. They comb the internet and find stories from all over the place, put them into really awesome, readable stories, and they're always right. They're always the first, usually, to find things.
Absolutely.
And we can't thank them enough. So thank you, Fred Lambert, and your whole team over there, because you do a fantastic job.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
All right, SpaceX is going to launch over 4,000 satellites. We've reported on this before.
Yes.
When we reported on it before, I got to be honest, I thought it was one of Elon's ideas, and I know that they all seem to come true, but I sometimes,
forget.
I even forget that Elon's ideas are usually awesome ideas, and they usually will come true. So
right.
when we announced it, and it was only a few months ago, I thought, 4,000 satellites? Don't we only have like 1,600 satellites circling the Earth right now?
I don't know. I couldn't give you an exact number, but
really,
I mean,
why not? Come on.
There's a lot of stuff out in there in space. But so, I mean, let's go over what this idea is. Basically, SpaceX wants to bring high-speed internet to the entire globe using 4,425 high-speed internet satellites. These are going to be really low Earth orbit.
So these satellites are going to go about 1,100 kilometers above Earth?
Somewhere around there, yeah.
And they're going to have a latency of about 25 to 30 milliseconds.
That's not that bad.
So what's existing latency from a land-based internet?
So if you're talking like 4G right now, it's about 5 milliseconds if you're everything is going well.
Okay. And
so I mean 25 that's not that bad. I mean 25 milliseconds it's not that bad.
Okay. So this would cover the entire Earth. So we're talking even places like the middle of the ocean or Africa, places.
Yeah, we're talking about basically places that will not see high-speed internet for a really long time.
Wow.
I mean, there are satellites up right now that can give, but basically the speeds are not there. This is going to be able to basically give internet to the entire world.
SpaceX's Vice President of Satellite Government Affairs, Patricia Cooper, shared that the company had plans to send up a prototype by the end of this year, with another following in 2018. So this is happening. Like, they're actually going to start testing it and doing it.
And this isn't just to give internet to the whole world, which we'll be doing. Okay. It'll also be a revenue stream. I mean, you're going to have to pay money to have access to this. But I mean, think of the market share that you are now getting. This is a market share that does not exist right now.
That's right.
I mean, Verizon cannot just be like, hey, now we just we put up 1 billion new cell towers in Africa. I mean, that would take a huge amount of effort and money. And SpaceX is basically going to do that, cover all of Africa, cover all of Asia, Southeast Asia, I mean, all of Siberia, I mean, everywhere.
Right.
And be able to offer that as a service, as high-speed internet everywhere.
That's amazing.
And basically, SpaceX can then use that to fund its projects to go to Mars.
And it looks like they're going to be putting up satellites every year until 2024 when they get the whole Earth covered. So we're talking, if they stay on target, by 2024, this could be a game changer.
Right. And the only way that this is possible, basically, is with their reusable rockets.
Right.
Being able to bring down the price of shooting things into space by, huge factors.
The Model 3 has been spotted yet again, and this time in this beautiful red.
That's a gorgeous color.
So that's a new color. So basically we've seen it now in red, blue, white, and black. I would love to know from you guys, what do you guys think? What's your color? What's your Model 3 going to be? How about you, Jesse? I've heard matte black from you.
I wanted the matte black. I'm not sure. I'd probably get pulled over all the time because matte black is a pretty ostentatious color. I like this red. This red looks pretty flashy. It'll be more noticeable, I think, than if you get it in a black or a blue, or even probably a white.
And we're thinking that this red was actually painted in the Fremont factory in the Model 3 paint shop, because that has been completed. So this might be an actual candidate with the actual paint.
Right. So
pretty cool. Tesla Energy Aggregation.
What does that mean?
So this is kind of a new term, actually, pretty much invented by Tesla again. This is combining power walls and power packs.
I love it. This is really cool. Here's a quote here. To introduce this program, Tesla and Green Mountain Power, a utility in Vermont, are working together to bundle Powerwall and PowerPack batteries into a single resource of shared energy for the first time. Green Mountain Power will install PowerPacks on utility land and deploy up to 2,000 Powerwall batteries to homeowners within the utility's service territory, which will enable more renewable energy and increase grid efficiency. For only $15 a month or a $1,500 one-time fee, customers will receive backup power to their home for the next 10 years, eliminating the need for traditional, manually controlled backup generators that use fossil fuel. At the same time, Tesla and Green Mountain Power will provide a variety of grid services using the network of installed Powerwall batteries, delivering dynamic capacity and additional grid stability while sustainably lowering costs for all utility customers. Tesla will also work with Green Mountain Power to dispatch the aggregated resource to New England's wholesale electricity markets, producing additional savings for customers in the region.
So let me just understand this. So 2,000 customers in Vermont will pay either $15 a month or $1,500 up front to get a Powerwall 2 for 10 years.
Yeah.
And then the utility will be able to use that power when they want to adjust for peak
Right,
times.
and the utility will also have their own battery backups.
Oh, they'll buy power packs.
Power packs, right,
Okay.
those bigger systems.
So they'll use homes as batteries, and they'll have their own batteries. So that's why it's called aggregation, right? Because they're aggregating the two.
Yeah, and so the advantage of this is that the homeowner will have a battery backup system in their home. So that way if the power goes out, if a tree falls from their specific power line and they lose power, they will have a battery backup in their house.
So they don't have to go out and buy a generator like a lot of us do. I mean, because in Vermont in the winter, that's a huge problem.
Right. I mean, snow and stuff and trees that fall down and cut the power lines.
Right.
A few years ago, I mean, just whole swaths of the whole country was basically without power because lines got cut. And so if you have this battery backup, it will allow you to at least be able to organize yourself and prepare for the winter. And if you have solar on your roof and you're able to charge your power pack, you could live off grid for a while.
And I want to point out, I mean, a new power pack costs way more than $1,500.
Right.
So you're getting a huge discount for something because you're allowing your power to be aggregated.
Right.
You know, if you're a utility owner and you're out there and you haven't heard about this, Tesla set up on their website a page just for you, utilities, so that you can find out more about this and just like homeowners can set up solar and stuff, you guys can go set up a Tesla power pack set.
Right. And I mean, hey, maybe you're not a utilities owner, but maybe you work for a utility and you could show your boss. Maybe you know someone who works for a utility or know the owner of a small utility. I mean, this is
spread the news.
Cool idea. Basically, you just get in contact with Tesla and see what you can make happen.
All right, so Elon's been posting some more boring photos on Instagram and boring videos.
Yes, so these are some pictures of the entry hole and staging area of the starting tunnel.
That's right.
So basically, they just bought a new, or actually a used, maybe it was a certified pre-owned boring machine that they're going to play with. They named it the Godot after the famous playwright.
Yeah, so I guess Elon's on a playwright binge now with his naming. I thought he was going to go robot, or he was going to go...
I thought so too. I mean, maybe it's not him. Maybe it's a naming team.
Maybe. So here's what he tweeted on Instagram. How do you tweet? You insted? He grammed?
You don't.
He grammed. Entry hole, staging area, and starting tunnel for boring machine 1, aka Godot, now complete. The photo here is of Godot, just part of the machine. The rest of the machine is actually undergoing final assembly. It's going to be a few hundred feet long by the time it's all assembled. So we're just seeing the front part of the machine here.
So this is an 8-meter cutting disc. So it's cutting an 8-meter diameter hole right through, the ground under LA. And basically his idea of these tunnels, of the boring company's tunnels, is that they're going to be somewhere around 12 meters in diameter, that they're going to be able to dig faster than any other boring machine, and that the 12 meters gives you a huge advantage because it's a smaller cross-section, because usually you have to do at least 22 meters or somewhere around there to fit a normal car with all the ventilation for exhaust and stuff like that. But he's going to have a smaller tube, which means less material to get out of the way, less stuff to have to put up, all sorts of less. And then he'll implement his sled
Yeah, look at this video. This is a cool video of his electric car sled prototype that's hitting, I think, 125 miles an hour.
Wow.
And I think they're using the Hyperloop test track that they've got over at SpaceX.
I think so, yeah.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And so I think he just had some interns working on this. And he's already gone faster than most startups go.
Right. It's amazing that he has all of this actual capital and intellectual capital that he can just sort of, take from here and there, plop down onto a problem, and just say, hey, see what you could do.
And the Elon checkbook. I think the Elon checkbook is
a big
part of it.
That's the capital that that's the capital I'm talking about. But I mean, just to be able to be like, hey, let's just do this as a bit of a
But I mean, he doesn't
project.
even have to check with anyone. It's his checkbook.
Oh, absolutely.
So like if he's like, hey, I really love that new boring machine I saw on eBay, let's get it.
It really shows what you can do when you have the money and you have the resources and the drive.
Now here is also the photo of Gary the snail's cage. We remember Gary is
pineapple,
right? Because he lives under the sea.
He lives in a pineapple under the sea.
Gary is the snail that we have to try and beat here because Gary it goes faster right now than most existing boring machines. So,
right. So he's their main competitor, I think, in this boring market.
As Elon said, the race between Gary, our pet snail who lives in a pineapple, and Godot, our tunnel boring machine, begins soon. Also, first tunnel for the boring company begins. Full length of the first tunnel will run from LAX to Culver City, Santa Monica, Westwood, and Sherman Oaks. Future tunnels will cover all of Greater LA. Wow. Now, again, I usually start by going, wow, that sounds like it's impossible. But then usually about a year later, it starts to become true. So
right. I mean, when I saw the promotional footage of the Tesla driving onto the thing, going down underground, and then going 125 miles an hour, I was like, can't make any. I mean, like that's crazy. And then to see like a week, 2 weeks later, to see something go 125 miles an hour through basically a tunnel is like, oh, okay,
yeah.
Like, that's plausible, I guess.
Yeah, he's making reality happen all the time.
Yeah.
It's just mind-blowing. But here's somebody who thinks he can do better. One up Elon. This is VW CEO Herbert Diess. And he went as far as saying that anything Tesla can do, we can surpass. We are confident that in this new world, we will become a market leader. And he added, Tesla is a competitor we take seriously. Tesla comes from a high price segment, however. They are moving down. It's our ambition with our new architecture to stop them there, to rein them in.
So I don't really see any examples. I mean, we've seen some of their concept cars, their concept ideas, but they really have not been showing that they are going to be doing any of this. I mean, he's talking the talk, but can he walk the walk?
We'll find out.
I guess we'll find out.
VW tends to say things that aren't always true. Speaking of German car companies, here's another one. This is a new one. This is a startup. They are called e.go, and they are coming out with a car. This is from renowned engineer and university professor Gunther Schroe. He's bringing to market an all-electric city car. This is a two-seater car for 15,900 euros or $17,000 US. And this is before incentives.
Interesting.
Take a look at this car here. I mean, it's a pretty cool, cute.
It's cute, small.
Cool.
It's definitely better looking than I'd say a smart car. So I mean, if you have an e.go, you might want to get an e.go as opposed to a smart car. Yeah, I mean, it's a fine looking car. Definitely a nice city looking car.
Well, then take your 1,000 euros and put some money down. They're taking deposits right now, vehicles this week. They're starting with the German market, and there is a 4,000 euro incentive in Germany. So this car would actually cost you 11,900 euros or $13,000. Now what do you think?
Okay,
but wait, let me just tell you about the range.
Yeah, I need to know about the range before I'm going to actually put
All right, so the two-seater offers two different optional batteries. The 14.4 kilowatt-hour battery pack has a 130 kilometer or 80-mile range. And the bigger battery pack, which is
19.2 kilowatt hours?
That's right. It gives 170 kilometers or 105 miles of range. And that, for a city car, I think is plenty.
Yeah, that's really not bad. That's on par with like a pre-battery upgrade Leaf or something like that.
Right.
I mean, you're talking basically Leaf numbers.
I guess because it's such a light car, it's only 1,100 kilograms. It can travel 100 kilometers on less than 10 kilowatt hours of battery. So it's a very efficient car, very lightweight. Obviously, it's only a two-seater. It's really designed for just city travel. So what do you think? Who out there wants to get one?
Yeah, I mean,
Hands up.
Post in the comments down below if you think that the e.go would be a good choice for you, or maybe your e.go is just too strong, you need a bigger car. So a Tesla battery researcher says that they have doubled the lifetime of batteries in Tesla's products. And this is 4 years ahead of schedule.
But wait, are these actually in Tesla products now?
Not right now.
Okay.
Right now, these are lab batteries.
Okay.
So Jeff Dunn, he's a Canadian battery researcher that works for Tesla, says that they have already achieved their initial goal of doubling the lifetime of lithium-ion batteries. This is 4 years earlier than they expected. Basically, they went into this sort of, I think they got some grant money basically, and they were like, yeah, we hope to double lithium-ion battery lifetimes within about 5 years.
Right.
They're
Then
4 years ahead of schedule.
A year later, they're like, oh, we did it.
Oh, we've completely figured out how to double the lifetime of lithium-ion batteries. So right now, he says that there's no reason why both the cars and the batteries in Tesla's products couldn't last for more than 20 years.
So Don went on to explain that by increasing the lifetime of these batteries, Tesla is reducing the cost of its kilowatt-hour residential and utility scale projects. So he gave some examples of the costs at 23 cents per kilowatt-hour for residential solar and 13.9 cents per kilowatt-hour for utility scale based projects. So this gives you some idea of how cheap it is now. And that's why so many companies around the world are signing up to do this, because the cost has just come dramatically lower.
Right.
So we're excited about his research, and we can't wait to see it actually enter the products.
I can't wait.
All right, so what is this beautiful thing we're looking at here in China?
So this is a company called GAC. They're a car manufacturer in China. Right now they produce primarily, I think, almost all internal combustion engine cars.
Yep.
But basically they have just announced a $6.5 billion EV vision.
Okay, so this is like their vision for the future?
This is their vision for the future. This will be where they produce all of their new battery electric vehicles. Interesting to note here, the gigafactories that appear to be here, right down to the shape of the gigafactory. So it's a solar-covered giant building, looks like, in the shape of the gigafactory.
Yeah, and it looks like there's like four of them.
There's like 4 of them, so that's huge.
So, I mean, this is going to be one of the biggest investments of its kind. This park will be located in Guangzhou's Panyu district on 5 square kilometers.
Right.
And at this location, GAC Motor will build a new electric vehicle plant, which they expect to be completed by the end of 2018. It'll cost about $680 million and will be able to produce 200,000 units a year. Now, I want to point out this vision that we're looking at and this plant that we're talking about. This plant would just be one of those little rectangles on this vision, right? We're not. They're not talking about actually starting.
They're not going to build this entire thing
right away.
Right away.
But this is how they're planning it, which I think is fantastic. I mean, look at it. It looks like there's places for workers to live. It looks like there's golf courses and
a huge park.
GAC's first all-electric vehicle, the GE3, which they released, they showed at the latest car show at North American Car Show in 2017. It'll be one of the first cars they produce in this factory. In the coming 5 years, we will push out at least 7 new electric vehicle models and cover 3 product series, including pure electric, range extending, and hybrid. Our goal is for GAC Motor to take the lead in the EV business and achieve sales of 20,000 electric vehicles by 2020. That is a quote from Yu Zhen, who's the general manager of GAC Motor. I do want to point out 20,000 vehicles by 2020 is not that ambitious if you look at Tesla's numbers, because we're talking about probably producing 100,000 vehicles next year.
But I am glad that they are at least sharing this vision of the future with us, even if it does turn out to be like completely not true. I at least enjoy that they're showing us a factory.
Yeah.
Because all of the other car manufacturers are showing us concept cars, which, I mean, you can just sort of put together and say, look at this cool concept car, look at all the cool features it has. It doesn't mean that it's going to be in, just a few years or anything like that. If you're showing me some factories that you're going to be building and you're putting little pictures of gigafactories in them, I mean, it's very exciting. It makes me feel like, oh, at least
where the future is.
Where the future is and where to be headed. I think that this is a breath of fresh air for a internal combustion engine car manufacturer.
And it's going to be a breath of fresh air for their factory workers who get to work on making clean air vehicles.
Absolutely.
So this next story is a huge thanks to one of our viewers, Erwin from South Africa, who sent us this story. We wouldn't have found out about it without him, so thank you to Erwin. This is the world's first autonomous EV container vessel. Now remember a few weeks back we were talking about how container ships are super polluting. This could be an answer to that. Now this isn't the scale of a container ship that goes across the ocean.
This is much smaller. This is to get from one city in Norway to another city. Now usually it would take every day between these two companies, they'd be shipping about 100 diesel trucks worth of goods. So basically semi-tractor trailers.
Right.
Basically what they're thinking of doing is loading all of that stuff onto a container ship and then shipping that all the way down to the other city. Autonomously, and with a battery electric ship.
Amazing. So these two Norwegian companies are coming together to craft the world's first self-driving zero-emission ship. So overall, the companies estimate that the container ship will cut the same emissions of roughly 40,000 trucks per year.
So they're cutting that out completely.
Right.
And that also means that they're taking all of that traffic off of the roads.
Exactly.
And all of the traffic, all of the, the safety hazards that might, incur, all of it is off the roads, onto the waterways in a electric vehicle.
Yeah, so Kongsberg and the chemical company Yara are developing this boat together. And I guess Yara is actually going to be developing a lot of the autonomous features in the boat. They plan on having a 2018 launch of the boat, and they think that it'll start by being manned by people for the first couple of years, but that it'll be autonomous by 2020.
As soon as it launches, it seems like it's going to be a full battery electric container ship.
Yeah, that's just fantastic.
That's super fantastic. I mean, obviously, this is a lot smaller than container ships. This isn't going across an ocean. This is going just a few hundred miles, basically.
Right.
But super exciting.
This is going between the ports of Brevik and Larvik in Norway, and I could have sworn I heard the name Larvik this week as we were putting together the show's notes. I wonder if that's where the supercharger location is.
I think that's where the supercharger. We'll have to find out at the end of this episode, so stay tuned.
So every week we love to find comments from our viewers that kind of stand out, and we had so many this week that are positive to us, and thank you so much for those. This comment from Jeff Connolly I found really interesting, so I thought we should throw this in here.
Absolutely. Jeff says, P.S. I drive buses for a living, and I think the writing is on the wall. So I've enrolled in the University of Western London, and I begin working on my degree. I hope to finish before I'm replaced.
Wow.
That's some forward thinking right there.
That is super forward thinking. Kudos to you, because
Absolutely.
Whether or not your job is replaced anytime soon, just going and enrolling at the university is so smart, and it's probably going to lead to great things no matter what. But yes, I mean, knowing what's coming is one of the best ways to deal with change. So many of us in the world don't really want to see what's coming.
Right.
And that's why we handle change so poorly, I think. Being able to foresee some change and being able to steer clear of bad things, that is the definition of being smart.
Absolutely. So good luck on your studies, Jeff. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you for the great comment.
Yeah, and I can't wait to see what you decide to get your degree in.
Absolutely.
So we got a lot of new superchargers we want to talk about this week, and a big first one is a question. So this is a permit that we saw for a supercharger going in Lavik, Norway. Now, this is Lavik, and I think in our last story we were talking about Larvik.
Larvik.
Now, I'm guessing they're two separate places, but
Right.
if you're from Norway, you must know. So please let us know. Is Lavik different than Larvik? Did we mistype something? What's going on here? Larvik is the port city. Where's Lavik?
I don't know.
Anyway, it's permitted now for a supercharger, so that means you won't see anything yet, but soon they'll start construction. Also, permits are being pulled for
Marshall, Michigan.
and Manzanares, Spain.
Construction has begun in Osage Beach, Missouri. Are there beaches in Missouri?
Let's find out. Oh,
I guess there is or there isn't. We don't know. Thanks, editing team. And some new superchargers have just opened in Sydney, Nebraska.
I didn't know there was a Sydney, Nebraska. Also, Tupelo, Mississippi.
And then 3 in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
3 in Hong Kong. There's one at Maritime Square. There's another one at Elements. And then there's another one at Popcorn.
Popcorn, that's cool.
I don't know where Popcorn, Hong Kong is, but here it is on the map.
Oh, these are all cool looking places.
Hong Kong seems to be just chock full of superchargers.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching. We want to thank 3 of our very special, very amazing Patreon supporters.
Yep.
These are people who have helped support the news, which is fantastic. We wouldn't be able to do this if it weren't for them. We wouldn't be able to do half the things that we do on this channel if it weren't for them. If you would like to help support the news, please support us on Patreon.
Yeah, we have a lot of cool little perks, I guess you
There
call
are some
them.
perks, there are some gifts, and this is one of them. A huge thank you and shout out to Christian Richard
Michael Hughes.
and Christopher Brack.
Yeah, if you see these 3 guys today walking down the street, give them a pat on the back, because these guys support us.
And a handshake.
Yes, a handshake. And buy them a cup of coffee,
Absolutely.
because they're awesome. I just want to mention real quickly that we are really close to having enough referrals to get to go to the Model 3 delivery event. That probably is going to happen, I guess, July.
Yeah.
So if we get just some more referrals, we can go to that event and cover it for you.
So
Which would
if
be-
you are thinking about buying either a Model S or a Model X, please use our referral code down below.
Get
It'll
$1,000 off.
$1,000 off your Tesla Model S or Model X purchase, and it will also help send us to go cover the delivery event.
That'd be so exciting.
Thank you so much for watching. Now you know.